a God who resides in the heavens, and to communicate with whom we must look upward. Sometimes he hears our words and grants our prayers, and at times he might become angry and displeased with us, ignoring our supplications altogether. Ultimately, he judges us, and most humans are punished for the mistakes and errors they have committed, condemned to hell and eternal torment. We are all familiar with such interpretations of the holy books from some religious scholars and spiritual traditions. Interpretations where God is considered a human-like entity, observing our behaviors, analyzing our actions, and ultimately directly influencing changes in this world. But is this belief and perspective the only one we can have about God? Should we accept God as we were taught since childhood? Shouldn't we seek a fresher and more beautiful form? A form that is more compatible with the truth of the universe and displays the true status of the designer and creator of the world in its beauty. In this video, we examine this important and fundamental question: where is God exactly? Is he outside the world he created? Is he the same world we see around us, or is he generally beyond these two states? Sometimes we encounter questions that require extensive research and a lot of energy to answer. Usually, finding answers is not easy either. These questions are raised in our channel, and we try to collectively find logical and reasonable answers. Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Some believe that God is not a personal entity or anything similar to a human being. This belief, which has been expressed by many humans throughout history, is known as pantheism. But what does pantheism mean? What kind of definition does it offer for God? Pantheism, or all-godism, fundamentally rejects the personification of God or the attribution of emotions and decision-making power to him. Instead, it considers the entire nature of God and believes that God is not separate from his creation. Everything we see, including you and me, trees, mountains, the sky, and the sum of all created things, ultimately constitutes God. This strange idea was recorded by the famous Jewish philosopher Baruch Spinoza in modern times. But it has a much deeper history. This idea has many common points with the unity of existence discussed in mysticism. According to the oldest works left from the philosophy of ancient people in the civilization of the historical Indus Valley, there were thoughts similar to what we call God today. These ideas were contemporaneously debated in ancient Greece and pre-Socratic times by Heraclitus and Anaximander. They talked about the concept of cosmic unity. However, among ancient Hindu texts, there is also the concept of Brahman. Brahman is similar to the concept of a singular God, introducing the ultimate reality of the world and emphasizing that individual souls, called Atman, ultimately merge with Brahman and everything is in unity. In the following years, Buddhists, the classical civilization of Socratic Greece, Platonists, medieval Jews, and Kabbalists, and finally Baruch Spinoza, reinterpreted this idea of pantheism in their own ways. But what is the basic belief of this perspective? Can this definition of God be correct? Fundamental beliefs of pantheism. At the heart of pantheism is the belief that there is no particular separation between God and the creation of the world. Pantheism believes that attributing human emotions to God is very wrong, and instead, nature and indeed the world itself are considered as the creator, and it is expressed that whatever exists is this world, and God is the sum of all of them. But is the God defined by the perspective of pantheism actually endowed with free will? Or is he merely a God under the laws of determinism? The truth is that there are various models and types of pantheism. From beliefs that merely regard God as nature and do not ascribe any free will or power to him, to more mystical beliefs that consider nature as part of the divine existence but believe that God has superior and metaphysical powers. Pantheism, in its limited sense, rejects the concept of the supernatural. It does not accept miracles, divine interventions, and the idea of life after death, reducing God to the level of natural forces like gravity and nuclear forces. But is it really so? Aren't we dealing with an intelligent God who can create without prior planning and have control over humans and their lives? The idea of pantheism has common conceptual links with Eastern and Western mysticisms. Mysticisms have believed in the unity of existence for thousands of years. They believe that all particles of the universe are connected with their creator and the ultimate truth of this world, and they are one. But this oneness, to quote Mullah Sadra, does not limit God to his creation. In fact, it means that God is greater and more complex than his creation. Humans are designed and created by God, but they are not perfect or flawless like him. Humans have not reached perfection in knowledge. Humans have countless needs to fulfill. However, God has placed a limited model of infinite seeking and creativity in his existence. According to the belief of this unity-oriented philosopher, this itself shows that God is greater and more complex than his creation. However, all creation is part of his existence, and they are all ultimately made of the same substance, and existence is only from that creator who is the only existence of the universe. However, according to spiritual masters, the idea of pantheism can connect humans to nature and reconstruct the idea for them that they are of the same essence as stones, rivers, and planets, and God never listens to our words from somewhere far from this world. Rather, God listens to our words from within us and experiences this life. Here is where we might better understand why an enlightened mystic like Mansur al-Hallaj uttered the phrase, Ana al-Haq, I am the truth, and how he saw the entire universe as being of the essence of God, even himself. In this video, we became familiar with the concept of pantheism or all-godism and saw that this traditional belief that God looks down from the heavens to his creatures can be replaced with better and more complete mystical beliefs about God, painting a more beautiful picture of his reality in our minds.